Conservative Party is doing in order to encourage more women
Yes.
to get involved.
Yeah, I'm delighted to talk about that, having spent most of the last year working on that until I became minister. So the Conservative Party is doing lots to try and encourage women to stand. We've had, been very much taken part in the cross-party Ask Her to Stand work in 50-50 Parliament, celebrations of 100 years since women got the vote, and celebrating Nancy Astor, the first female MP, Conservative MP as well this year. And the ambition to have 50-50 candidates list is a key part of the campaign to get more Conservative women standing. So that's 50% of the list of candidates that then have a chance to apply for parliamentary seats should be women. There's also lots of support for women who are interested in standing, and I know that some of you in this room are getting some of that support, and I hope you'll vouch that it really makes a difference. It certainly made a difference for me back when I first stood in 2010, but both the CWO, Conservative Women's Organisation, and Women to Win, and also kind of Central Party CCHQ, Victoria Peck, who's sitting there, who's Women's Officer, who's fantastic, provide lots of support and coaching and help women actually build a network of supporters, because having a bunch of mates who go through the challenges of standing makes it all the knocks that you go through easier to bear, and then you've got somebody to celebrate with when you succeed as well.
I have to confess I've recently given up my Conservative Party membership. I've been invited today with my hat on as head of Pregnant Then Screwed. Pregnant Then Screwed is a campaign dedicated to ending the motherhood penalty. Particularly in the last few months, politics and the act of lawmaking has been boiled down to willy waving, party theatrics, and he said. So where's the woman in all of this? Granted, your response to this will be, we've had 2 female prime ministers, and you're right, we have. But that doesn't mean the woman's vote has been won.
Deeds, not words, is the famous motto of the suffragettes. So I'm going to give you some policies that I think are going to help. Number 1, we've talked about childcare, and I think the women here have made some fabulous points. So I'll expand on that, and I'll say I think this is a real social care issue, because we've always traditionally had women getting hit when you're pregnant, when you've got young kids at home. Now 10 years later, you're getting a double hit as mum or dad get dementia. And yeah, it's the women who are stepping out of the workplace to care for men. That's partly because of the gender pay gap, and it's just partly because of the way our society is. And if we don't, as Tories, radically look at providing social care, yes, to young children, but also improving social measures for older people, there's another thing that's going to set women back. So I think we should be talking about care as a general point of view when it comes to the role of women.
So after New Zealand, the UK is the most expensive childcare in the world. And anyone who's a working mother will know this.
Women have to save up 12 times of their annual income to buy a house, their first house, versus 8 times what a man has to save. And rent takes up on average 43% of a woman's income versus 28% of a man. Climate change is disproportionately affecting women and girls around the world. As mums are concerned about babies breathing in toxic air. We're concerned about ourselves breathing in air pollution. This is something that people are really concerned about, and it is going to be a ballot box issue at the next election. There will be young people going to the ballot box, and they will make their decision based on who they think is tackling the climate emergency best.
I had a conversation with the Prime Minister before he became leader and talked about women's stuff with him, and I'm absolutely positive that he is committed to the women's agenda, and that we will see plenty of support for the kind of policies that we're calling for in time to come. I think we have a problem overall of tone in politics, and it is shared across parties. It's not. It just so happens that there's a particular Labour attack going on because they see an opportunity and seen in action. And overall, I recognise that the tone in politics can be particularly off-putting to women at the moment. It's something that I would like to see us move on from, and as Rachel, if we can move on from the Brexit conversation, then I sincerely hope that the temperature will cool down and we can get on and talk about all the other stuff that we care about, and it won't be quite such a sort of impassioned conversation as it is at the moment.
And it's all great that we have women's groups, but they're talking to the same people. We're talking to the choir. And we're only talking generally to white women We are not including everyone else in the conversation. We are not allowing women to progress. We are only allowing the women we want to progress to move forward.
I think it is about deeds, not words, the original feminist slogan. I go back to what the Prime Minister has done for women. He introduced FGM legislation and all the things that he will do. So, and I think people outside of here can see that, by the way. What happens in the Westminster bubble, in the mainstream media, and the stuff that's talked about.
For me, the things I really want to see us majoring on to make sure that we do get the support of women as and when we have an election is healthcare, education and the environment.